Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to Listen Up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Thank you, KK. That's Ryan Renner. I'm Phil with Sarah back on Listen Up. Well, Ryan, today we're going to have a lot more fun with it, right? And not just talking about the X's and the O's. No, Ryan, I'm not talking about blowing you kisses through the camera. I'm talking about having more fun and discussing the Paige Bueckers offseason. Now, Ryan, before we get into this, I wanted to shout out to you very quickly. And we do appreciate, we love you all. Chemistry, Ryan. I was told by somebody the other day, chemistry between people, you can't teach that, right? You can't teach it. We have to shout out to all of our subs who comment in the section below because, hey, keep the comments coming, Ryan. I'm sure you agree and you have a message for them. Don't forget that message for subscribers. The comments are always on point. They never tend to argue with each other and go back and forth. Always nice and polite, respectful. So we appreciate it more than you know. So keep the comments rolling. Ryan, very quickly, though, this is very disturbing. Matter of fact, if this is true, I'm glad she's safe, first of all. What's wrong out there? Is all I got. I don't even know. I don't even want to comment on this because I can guarantee you YouTube will remove this video if I tell you what I really think. And if I share my message to, yeah, to anybody out there. Anyhow, according to Marca.com, Ryan, I just saw this. Matter of fact, if this is true, Paige Bueckers is safe. Man arrested after threatening to sacrifice anyone near her. And the reason I bring this up to you, well, first of all, this is a UConn Huskies women's basketball player. But today, the topic is also on Paige Bueckers.
Yeah, it's definitely a crazy world we live in for sure, and it's just sad to see articles and stuff like that happen to no matter who it is. So it's just not something good to start your day off when you read something like that on the internet. But unfortunately, like I tell you all the time, not really surprised by much anymore. Unfortunately, that's just the world we live in. But yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and get started to. Some more
Yeah.
positive news for today's podcast. As like you said, we're talking about Paige Bueckers and all the stuff that she's done throughout this off season. And of course, they finally are back on campus, starting school again, and of course, getting more work in at the gym now. But before returning back on campus, Paige did just about a little bit of everything with their time away from UConn, as she called it on her Instagram, her world tour during the off season. So during her world tour, she sat courtside with Flau'jae Johnson at the WNBA All-Star Weekend. And in her return home to Minnesota, she threw out the first pitch at a Twins game and also made an appearance at their state fair, tried out some of their signature foods down there in Minnesota. She also added another NIL deal to her list of partnerships, which also included her having pink hair. We had an episode on that when she partnered with Madison Reed and a couple of the other Huskies too. As she showed off her fashion at the ESPYs wearing a pretty killer purple suit and also worked with high Sinabity fashion. And she also made sure to hit up some WNBA games to support her former Husky teammates. So, and I even saw some Lego activities, of course, like we talked about with KK. She loves doing her Legos, and some golf sprinkled in there as well. So, like I said, Paige definitely had a pretty busy, but I'm sure really fun summer break, and I hope that means she's even more ready now to dominate in her final season at UConn.
So the athlete lifestyle, Ryan, SI.com. Yeah. So according to the list in chronological order that they put on their beautiful article they came out with, question for you and everybody, not just Ryan again. Everybody, what is your favorite event or what is your favorite move that Paige Bueckers made this off season time away from Gino Auriemma's squad? And this is according to SI.com, Ryan. So, Ryan, what was your favorite move she made during the offseason? Was it owning WNBA All-Star Weekend with Flaugier, throwing out the first pitch at the Twins game, signing new NIL deals, her pink hair, or was it the beautiful purple lavender suit at the ESPY Awards? What was Ryan's favorite move?
That's a tough one. Like I said, she did so much, and everything looked
Don't
pretty
hold
fun.
on. You better not pick that first pitch at the Twins game because she should have came to Oriole Park and
Yeah,
Camden Yards and threw that first pitch.
yeah, that's right. She shouldn't have went back home. She should.
Ryan, you can't. Nobody and Ryan and nobody else can pick that. All right, Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, forget going back home to where she belongs in Minnesota. She should have came to Baltimore, but yeah, that's a
Paige, we're
tough
just
one.
kidding. All right, we're
Think
just kidding.
I think I'd pick the pink hair, the partnership
Okay.
with Madison Reed. That was definitely it was a surprise when I saw all those pictures and the articles with her in a new hair, rocking her new fashion statement. I think that was pretty cool to see. So I'll go with the partnership with Madison Reed.
And we did title the video a new hairstyle for the new season. Although we hope she actually, I don't know about you. Do you hope that she keeps that new hairstyle? I kind of want her to keep the pink for the whole season. Just something new. And matter of fact, I believe in that, Ryan, when it comes to sports. You change just one little thing, whether it be, wearing a piece of jewelry on your wrist or a new necklace or changing your hair color, man, it just brings that different feel, right? And hopefully that can lead to a title. You know what I'm getting at.
I would hope so. I'm not sure about the whole season, but I would definitely like to see it at the start or maybe at some point. I always like to say you look good, you feel good, you play good. So I think that might have something to do with it as well. So I would love to see Paige rock it definitely at some point during the season.
All right, comment time, Ryan, from the last video. UConn Huskies full non-conference schedule released. They came through, Ryan, very well. Let's go over to Bro Rick because I don't shy away from anything. I know you don't either, Ryan. Phil, did you say that Tennessee is the Huskies' #1 opponent on this year's out-of-conference schedule? They have to play the Gamecocks in South Carolina. Thank goodness for Ryan, who acknowledged the Irish, who they will be playing in South Bend after the Irish came to Stores last season and spanked the Huskies without Olivia Miles. These are two of their most challenging games, regardless of whose article you read, Phil. Tennessee is in rebuild mode, new coach, players, etc. The Huskies are in trouble if they lose to Tennessee. I think you can make it clear for him, Ryan. We had a pod, I believe, about some teams who were already help me out here. We had the USC. We had a podcast on South Carolina. These were teams, explain to him, if you will, that we did not already speak about. No, so yeah, I mean, I agree. If they lose to Tennessee, what we consider in Connecticut, the sky would be falling, right?
Yeah, like I said, I think Tennessee's a little bit of a wild card this season. New coach, like they just said. So I think they are kind of in rebuild mode. Like we said, the Volunteers always have a solid team, but the past couple of seasons, I think they've kind of been up and down. Had a pretty decent year last year, but I still think they're figuring some things out. But like I keep on saying, I really like Notre Dame this season. I think that has the potential to be the toughest game or definitely one of the toughest games. So going into South Bend, that's definitely not going to be an easy task.
This person said, Phil, Tennessee, really? Can you even name two players on Tennessee? Well, first of all, Ryan, this is not a Tennessee podcast. All right. So, I mean, again, do you have to know it all? I'll leave that up to Ryan. Thank heavens you have Ryan as your sidekick. Well, that is the truth. He understands women's basketball. We watch your podcast solely because it talks about UConn women's basketball. Also, I get a pleasure in watching you talk about something you know so little about. And Ryan is full proof to this one. Phil doesn't shy away from anything.
Well, I certainly try my best to know about women's college basketball, and of course we've been doing this for 3 years now. So, trying to learn the ins and outs of everything, and like I said, I always try my best to analyze everything and give you guys some pretty good content and trying to analyze everything, of course.
I'm glad he gave me a great idea, or she. I'm sorry, I don't know who this person is, but they gave me a great idea, Ryan. Stop not wasting, but stop spending so much time studying UConn women's basketball and expand outside the bubble. All right. Jason D'Amico, Notre Dame is going to be scary this year. If Olivia Miles comes back healthy, watch out. Peace. I'm not going on a roll here, Ryan, and just starting to beat up this team here. But what I'm saying is, we say, well, Tennessee rebuild mode, this and that. Or if they lose at Tennessee, sky is falling. They better not lose to Tennessee. Orion, did we expect? How about this? I didn't see anybody. I don't think I'm looking through now. Nobody really brought up the fact that they didn't see that coming either, right? As far as Notre Dame going into UConn and doing that without Olivia Miles. So, I mean, it's both ways because just think of in that game preview last year, if I would have brought up Ryan, Notre Dame is going in there and they are going to just quiet that crowd down like never before. Can you imagine the comments? Phil, what are you talking about? You don't know women's basketball. Ryan, again, I think that Ryan knows this. Ryan, you don't know. You don't know.
Yeah, I mean, with Hannah Hidalgo coming in there last season as a freshman, she was already putting on a show in a lot of their games for Notre Dame. And of course, they have a couple of experienced players on their roster, Maddie Westbeld and a couple others. So, they came in there quite confidently to Stores and kind of beat up on the Huskies a little bit. So that was definitely a surprise last season. So hopefully UConn can go into South Bend and pull off. Who knows if it'll be an upset. I think both teams are pretty even in my opinion. So it'll definitely be a really good game. But hopefully UConn can get some revenge and go into Notre Dame's home court and steal a win away from Notre Dame.
How about Stevie Kinsey, Ryan, to recap to conclude this episode here? USC, Notre Dame, and South Carolina could all go either way. They will be extremely fun games to watch. Can't wait to see it, win or lose. Iowa State should also be a fun one.
Yeah, I think that's the big three: South Carolina, USC, Notre Dame. I think obviously they're going to be the three toughest opponents, and like I said, those three could probably be in the top five for the whole entire season. At least the top 10, definitely for the whole entire season. And Iowa State, we also had an episode on them, I believe, talking about that game. And it was announced a while back now, but. That should be a pretty fun game. Iowa State had quite the ride last season. So Aldi Crooks, I believe, returning for a sophomore campaign now. So that should be a pretty fun one.
How about one more? Giannis Press. Guys, do you think the attention Caitlin is getting will elevate the players still at college who gained more or as much attention as her in previous college years? I'm thinking of players like Hannah and Paige and even Juju, but in particular, the next set of WNBA draftees, will they be inspired to have their best college year this year?
Well, I would certainly hope so. I think for the most part, all the attention Kaylin's getting is good. Not only for her, but I think just the women's game in general. She really brought it kind of worldwide, which is kind of crazy to say, but almost everybody knows who Kaylin Clark is. So it's kind of a beautiful thing that women's basketball, not only the WNBA when Kaylin got drafted, but also, college women's college basketball got talked about so much last year when Iowa and Kaylin Clark was going on their run. So it's definitely really cool to start hearing people talk about Paige and Juju and Hannah and all these young talented women in our college game now. So I think for the most part, it's really good to hear all this noise surrounding the women's game right now.
All right, Ryan. Ryan and I never said it. Well, I appreciate your being prepared, Ryan, but we never said that we know it all. And not being smart here, but let me tell you, always be suspicious, it says, of those who pretend to know it all, claim their way is the best way, and are willing to force their way on the rest of us. Ryan, I think that's the most beautiful thing about sports. You never know it all. Ask Vegas. Phil and Rye on Listen Up.